TikTok's not funny. So I like that you guys were on time, and whenever I say it, you guys come through. You don't even ask, you just say, listen, we'll be there no matter what. I really appreciate you guys, man. Special shout out to you guys, all of you that you are here. Thank you so much.
And a big shout out goes out to Bongani's entire team. He spoke about gatekeeping. I think he's been incredibly instrumental in some of us in this room figuring ourselves as content creators. So shout out to you, watermelon man. Thank you for giving us fruits. Content creators come together, they don't give us fruits, they give us other things.
Yes.
But here we eat fruits, which is good.
Because they promised us the other time this year. We are watching you, man. It's 2 weeks in, how's the gym going?
It's very good, sir.
Yeah? Man, you ran around the block once. That was about the 3rd of January.
Take out of business. All right, we're going to get into our conversation. Sorry?
Where's the dustbin?
The dustbin is, that's a very good question. It's coming. A black bag is coming.
Guys, there will be time for questions. The questions must be silly, I suppose.
Just, in fact, if you're from a different province, you eat the whole meat. But they won't say which province that is.
You know what it does? Just ask the Man United fans, they'll tell you where it is.
All right, we're not going to pick on anyone. Are we ready for the conversation this afternoon? All right, tell the neighbor, hey neighbor.
Hey, neighbor.
Don't tell them, I'm not here for you, Chief. I'm here to hear what's going on here. So I'm saying that because we really don't want to be a distraction to anybody hearing what they need to hear today. So even if you think it's a part of the conversation that you have mastered, please let's not take for granted that we're not all in the same place in our career. So if you've nailed personal branding, good people. But the person sitting behind you and in front of you could be still exploring those areas. So we want to respectfully take everybody seriously and the conversations we're about to have. Again, our speakers are here, not because they were bullied here, not because they're getting anything out of it, but they're actually here to pour out of themselves the information that they have. So out of respect, I'll say it again, out of respect, I'd like that we honor them well this afternoon. Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah. You can hear the big sister here. Oh my. All right, personal branding. We'll stop there.
Yep. Remember, guys, Ethimia Tunamsanje is, are you just a creator or are you a brand?
Sure.
Ask the person next to you, are you a creator?
Are you a creator?
Or are you a brand?
Are you a brand or a brand?
I'm a brand. Alright, guys. So, we're gonna not waste much of you guys' time. Since we're talking about personal branding, I think I'm gonna just start with you, brother. Before you answer, tell the people again who you are and where you come from. And then, but what I want to know from you is, where do you think the content creator economy is going, according to you?
Awesome, thanks, bro. I didn't think I'd be starting. I'll just reintroduce myself. You will see Machila. I'm the creative group head of Mad Black. Standard Bank is just one of our clients, guys, so I don't like leading with that. I'm here with a cool team of mine. Got my PR director there. He's been asking for your pictures all day. We've got our multi-award senior art director. There's no award in the world this guy hasn't won, so super good. Run campaigns for MTN, Coca-Cola. There's nothing he hasn't done. Question again, creator economy is good.
Yeah.
So, three things top of mind, right? I'm happy Bongani mentioned what happened in the USA with TikTok. It's been a major learning curve for agencies, for brands themselves, that overly investing in one platform is not advisable because we don't own these platforms. That's the first thing. So we always try to say to the influencers we work with, attempt to build a community, not a following. Because when you have a community, those people believe in what you're doing and they will move with you when you have to. But if it's just followers, man, I mean, I liked one post, followed, it's not that deep, right? So that's the first thing, build community. And then building those communities is going to be important for some South Africa's creator economy globally, but us particularly because of the phenomenon of AI, which we're seeing a lot of brands trying to invest in right now. Because if I can create an ad with a person that's not a person that I don't need to pay, and then just boost it with a lot of money behind the ads, works out cheaper for them.
Yeah.
So I think a thing you guys need to think about a lot is how do you incorporate AI into your metrics and ensure you still perform better than the person that's not a person, right? And I think the final thing I'd say you guys have is a very unique opportunity. With the USA having left TikTok, Ubongani is not playing. Numbers-wise, you're in a very, very prime position to take that platform over, which is the thing we like as agencies, right? Because, excuse me, if they can no longer work with USA influencers, they start looking. Makes our jobs easier to sell to them, selling you guys, right? So I think you guys are in a very unique opportunity this year. You need to like put your big boy socks, I don't want to use the other word, on, knuckle down on it, because we are in a unique position, you influencers, us agencies, and working with global brands, because now they're looking. They're in trouble now. We're getting weird emails. So yeah, I hope I answered.
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
It's actually quite open. I think.
Maybe someone thinks I can like.
Yeah, I want to see. Okay.
Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Banza. I'm a senior associate architect at DNA Brand Architects. Traditionally, I'm a senior account manager. We are in the business of elevating brands and elevating brand experiences, using people like you, using platforms, events. So we're always on the ground looking at what's changing, culture, like we're very embedded in culture, to see trends before they even land. That's what's important. So in terms of the landscape of creators, where I see it going, is really brands wanting brand partners, more than just an influencer is going to do 3 posts and you're out. It's looking for collaborators, people that you're not just receiving a brief, but you are saying, how does this speak to my community? How do I best innovate this brand using what I have and the content that I create? So even for you, you need to start looking at those briefs, interrogating them, asking the questions. Whoever the campaign manager is, you ask questions because you don't want to give a revert and clients not happy. So you'd rather ask up front. And there's no such thing as a dumb question. Like I sometimes get messages late at night where it's like a thing of like, hey, I'm about to shoot, and is this fine? Is this not fine? So be curious. I think even the way you create your content, start to put it in pockets. You start to think of yourself as a brand, like how we're saying. So you need to have strategy and not just posting for the sake of posting, but you understand your community, you put it in buckets, into different content pillars, and that's how you start to win, and that's how you start to become different from any other creator.
I use the example of child stars, that there's a lot of us doing the same thing, but there are those who kind of pivot and stand out a little bit more. In the room here, you've got many creators who are really good at what they do. How do you then stand out? Do we take, as creators in this space, personal branding seriously? Do we feel that, as you guys on the other side of the line, are we nailing the personal branding, or maybe leaning towards it being defined by what people say we are, as opposed to arriving with those clear pillars of what we are? What is personal branding, and what does it mean for an everyday creator?
Hi, my name is Vicky Lefodi. I'm just a girl. Just a baby. So I'm not a content creator, I'm not an influencer, but I am a filmmaker. Literally just jumped on the job, camera department, and I've seen child stars, and I've seen people who are branding themselves go through so much. Literally, putting yourself in front of the camera is not the easiest thing. not easy. You have to be like extremely vulnerable. You're literally giving yourself to the world. You know, you are so vulnerable, and what comes back to you might not be pretty, and you have to stand on that. Now I'm there behind the scenes, and no one's gonna know my name at the end of the day. But you, with your camera, you, with your content and all of that, people, you literally just making yourself extremely vulnerable. And that's not easy. I tried content creation, but I can't. I'm just a baby. Understand? I'm just a baby. It takes so much courage. And I can imagine child stars. It takes so much courage. It's really not that easy. Now I'm behind the camera, and I've directed before, I've assistant directing before, and you know, you have to tell these people, do this, do that, do that. But at the end of the day, when you have to put it doesn't matter which day it is, it doesn't matter what you're going through. You have to give yourself to the world. And it's hard. I tried to talk about it, I was just like, I just get baby.
I think what you're saying is amazing, but I have a really important question. Maybe I'll give an answer first. Oh, okay.
Hi everyone. I'm going to as they introduce. I know some of you guys might be shocked as to Nepo works if you are googling it as to why am I here. So I have paid my dues. I've done agency work for the past about 11, 10 years before I moved now to renewable energy. So I had the privilege to work in what we call consumer, public affairs, entertainment, PR. I think some of you saw me here last year. So I worked with the likes of Nestle, Big, all the brands you can name. I think I've worked with quite a lot. And so to answer Risa's question first, just like in a classroom, just like in a school, there are some that are nailing it. I think the answer to say you guys nailing it. So there are some that are nailing the personal branding thing, and then there are some that are working towards it. I won't say you're failing. I think you're fairly working towards it. The fact that you're here means you're taking yourself seriously, means that you are putting in the work. So already that says a lot about you. And then just in terms of the work itself, and I think what you need to do to continue in terms of building your brand is also building a community. I think a lot of content creators, because now with the likes of TikTok and Twitter, everyone has a voice. So a Joe like me sitting in Limpopo at home, I have a voice, and now I want to sort of like sway you guys. I saw the other day there was a trend that was happening where people are asking which content creators are replying or engaging and replying, and then it was now people were now being put on sort of like being nailed on the cross, if I were to put it like that, right? So if you were to go with what everyone is saying, of course you obviously listen to your own community, but don't be swayed by the noise. I think the biggest word for this year, I think Leboline also said that, she said something around unsmoke the noise. So unsmoke the noise. You have your niche, you have the work that you're doing, and obviously you're gonna listen to your community, so build community. The community that you've built, take constructive criticism and continue to build your brand. Also have a plan, have a strategy. Again, I think he said it. Have a strategy. Some of you know why you joined. Maybe some have joined because a friend has joined. If you are and it's working for you, start building a strategy that works for you. I think that's also very important. And I think, again, we get swayed by the noise. We get swayed by what are the trends for this year. Again, she said when she started it was different. When I started, in the background as well in PR, it was quite different in terms of what is required. People were getting, I was saying to Mpo earlier when we were sitting that content creators and people were getting millions for a brand to post 6 posts in a year. And the budget has changed. I think he also mentioned it now that, brands can put money behind Meta and they can obviously get reach, you sort of do adverts. So as influencers, as you continue to build your brand and your personal brand, also make sure that you are also sort of differentiating yourself and then making sure that you're also being seen, because sometimes you guys get lost in that. Again, also collaboration is important as you continue to sort of plan and strategize strategize, collaborate as well. A lot of the content creators that I've worked with a lot of you. You may have not known me, but we work behind the scenes. So some of you that I've worked with is because of a friend. So Bongani, for instance, I worked with him because he was a videographer for a content I was creating. But he's given me content of a lot of people. The likes of your Roysang, when I worked with Roysang on Big, if you don't remember. The likes of your Whitney, when I worked with them on a Nando's campaign, is because of it was via somebody. So as you continue to collaborate and you work with either videographers, content creators, make sure that you are obviously creating work that's also being seen. I know I answered a lot, but the crux of it is that yes, some of you are nailing it, and then for those that are not nailing it, take some of the nuggets that I shared to sort of be well on your way to nail it.
I think since we are personal branding, I do want to keep it going, keep it flowing, because it's not repeating the one. While you're adding to it, please answer the question. What does it take to become a personal brand? Because I want to learn how to create content, not knowing how to navigate being a brand. So you can just answer that one and then come back in.
Just to add on to what Boki was saying there, when it comes to strategy, you guys need to understand that your strategies have to also be realistic. Like your plans need to be realistic. You guys do reach out to the brands and you want to collaborate with us, but firstly, you don't understand your own niche, right? You not understanding your own niche means that you're going to be all over the place. You're going to email all of us here on the panel, and your content Wajima, you're going to email me for a campaign. And I tell people to sit on the couch to watch TV. Do you understand? You need to be realistic. You need to understand what you're really doing, right? I'm sorry, but that's the truth. You guys need to also create your own niche. Be dope in what you're doing, because also if you don't have a niche, you can see, oh, this is not authentic. And I can't pitch a non-authentic person, because now you're going to wait for whoever to pose for you to copy that idea. And then you're going to translate that into my campaign, and you're going to make me a graphical buy. So that's also one thing, right? So that's all I wanted to add to Gorky. When you have a strategy, understand who you are, what your content is, and if you understand that, you will understand which brands you guys should be collaborating with and who you should be approaching. This whole spray and paint strategy, it's not a real plan. Just because you're chasing the bag, it's cool to chase the bag, but like, are you chasing it at the right places? Right? Because also now that's difficult for you to build your own brand because you don't know who you are. You not knowing who you are, then you can't build a brand that way. Right? So yeah. And then what was your question? Oh yeah, like I also don't get this whole I'm a brand thing. Because if you're a brand, you literally stand for one thing. Nike is a sport brand, sport and leisure, right? If you're a creator, you're able to create content in different pockets. So this whole I'm a brand, guys, leave it in 2022, please. Honestly, that's just me. I don't know what other people feel, but if you are a brand, you only cater to one beat or one category, right? But if you are a creator, your creativity can go beyond. It can go further and further than your craziest imagination. So that's just what I feel. I don't know about anybody else.
Maybe then, and I'll keep it there, when Nicole was supposed to come and join us, and I'm going to throw it to you as you come to it. Please give her a applause as she comes. Come on, give me the As content creators, maybe then the question that becomes is that because we're so busy building brands, we then neglect content because they were trying to build this persona. Maybe the question is, as a person who creates, I'm going to use myself, Christian content for argument's sake, how do I present myself to a room of people who don't necessarily know me? So what is it that I can do to make a Bongani from Nike recognize that even though I have a niche market, the added value I come with can go a long way for what they do. So I think that's where maybe there's a tension. That I've got a niche, but you might not necessarily be exposed to it. So how do I present myself to you?
Hello creators, my name is Kendra and I am a creative partner manager from Special Effects Media. It's so good to see so many familiar faces in the room today. That was a great question from Rory's side. So at SEM, I'm actually a talent manager amongst loads of other things, and I actually manage a faith-based YouTuber, and she's doing fantastically. There's nothing wrong with, I don't want to say putting yourself in a box, but leaning into your interests. And just to take it a step back and touch on the brand and creator conversation, ultimately, you guys need to see yourself as businesses. You are creators, but you are businesses. And in terms of defining your personal brand, what comes with that is how you carry yourself, how you communicate things. Are you timeless? Are you punctual? Do you know how to ask the right questions? Things like that are super important. And in terms of that branding, like for example, invoices. Do you have distinctive brand colors? Guys, I've received invoices with no banking details. Where must